What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and it is time for another album review. This time we're taking a look at the Melting album from Mamamoo, talking about the album tracks on here, and basically we're going to give you my rating, which is going to be how would I possibly spend my money on this album if I even would. So we're going to start off by just saying, like, this is a really good album. You know, it's Mamamoo. What else would you expect? Vocals are there, the beats and the feelings and just all of that sort of stuff that you would expect from a Mamamoo album and song, is present from start to finish. It's really, really fantastic. Of course, the vocals in this are key. That is their main strength as far as like talents and abilities, right? That is where it's at. This album too has kind of a little bit of everything that you would want. As far as, how the songs feel and energy and the tempo and the, all of that sort of stuff in there, which is, again, nice. Albums that have some diversity in the feeling that you get from them, or, the sort of song and the tempo level and energy level, really, really fantastic. It's really, really nice. That being said, the one complaint or the one thing that I can say that I don't particularly like, or at least I find interesting about this album, is the way that the album has been arranged as far as like the selection of the order of the songs, because the way that they've organized them from 1 to 9 is really, really interesting in the fact that it takes a little while for the album to get going, because you don't get to the part that has the tempo, the funky beats, the funky groove and stuff like that until song number 6, I think it is, on there, aside from the promotion song, which is the one exception in the first 5 songs that has a bit more feel and tempo and energy to it. But other than that, every other song on there is really kind of just much more like a low-key, down-tempo, relaxed sort of song that you don't really, like, you wouldn't particularly dance to. It doesn't give you the feeling that you want to move your body in any sort of way. You just like want to sit and enjoy a coffee, right? That's, I guess, the best way that I could describe it. And it's not a bad thing, right? Because it really isn't. But for someone who might not be particularly invested in Mamamoo as a group, or listening to this album from start to finish, they might get tired of it, before they even get to like what I would consider to be the good or the engaging part for your average music consumer. Which it's like I said, it's a really, really interesting way to go about it, because most albums are organized in a completely in the complete opposite order, where you start off with like really high tempo sort of stuff, and then you go down to low tempo, where you generally end with a ballad song, or at least you go down tempo and then you increase your tempo back up as you get to the end of the album, so that if you were to put it on repeat, you just kind of go in a loop of like the feel and tempo of the song and energy levels, which it's always interesting. Like, one of the things that I like to focus on and really take note of when I listen to these albums is, if I'm going to listen to this from start to finish, because of course, in a CD player, like, you can do, random, whatever, you can go random, but, generally it's just a lot easier and just more efficient to just listen to it from start to finish. So listening to this album from start to finish, I like to look at, like, where has it taken you? What sort of journey has it gone on? And this one, I start out low, as far as energy, and then you kind of have a couple songs, and then the last 4 songs or so are definitely a bit much more, up tempo and up energy than the previous 5, which, like I said, is not bad. It's just a thing that I noticed that might be something that's turned people off who weren't particularly, committed or interested in, giving the entire album a shot. Or they very well might have just skipped through all those songs to get to the ones where, they actually had like a, energy level that was very interesting and attention grabbing. That's just my thing though. So my overall rating for this is, really, really hard to decide, because on one hand, like the first 5 songs on the album, minus the promotion track, are not the most, captivating songs on the planet. But they are really, really nice songs to listen to. They are fantastic. They are really, really good songs, but they're not like pop songs. And on the other hand too, even though they're really nice to listen to, like I like, the vocal songs and stuff like that, but I found a lot of songs in the past that have been like, based off of the vocals and stuff that they've stuck in my mind. Hasn't really been any from the first half of this album that have really stuck with me. So on that's really kind of dragging my, will to buy this album down much more. But on the other hand, the second half of the album is definitely really, really good. It's got some really groovy songs on there, at least one groovy song, and I am loving the last couple songs on this album. So, at the very least, if I was going to do anything, I would, pick and choose individual songs off of this album to buy off of iTunes if I can. I haven't looked, but that's the thing. It's like, for me personally, I would choose individual songs, although I would really, really want to buy the entire album, just because like the entire package is really good, even though, maybe me personally, I don't think that some of these songs are, in my mind at least, worth paying for. But that doesn't mean that it's a good album. It doesn't mean that any of these songs are bad, because they are all really, really good. They're nice to listen to, at least the first half. The second half of the album is really, really engaging. And like I said, ultimately, at the end of the day, I am, kind of in between as far as what my rating and my decision is going to be between, pick individual songs to buy off of this album and just buy the entire thing, in general. So I don't specifically know, but I want to know what you think of this album, because that's kind of the reason why I make these videos, to share what I say, what I think, to get a discussion started with you down in the comments or on social media, on Twitter and Facebook. I've got links to my profiles and more in the description box below. So that is going to be it for this video. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye. All those elements, right? And they bring it into the performance, and you can actually visually see it in a music video when it's, depicted. And that's the thing that makes Mamamoo great. On top of the fact that, all of the members are fantastic performers, singers, vocalists, whatever, thing it is that they're really good at, which is like everything.